Think for a moment about how life is governed by time. Your day starts and ends with its command. Your appointments, plans, and even your leisure revolve around it. But have you ever thought about who decided what time it is? How did the concept of universal time come to rule our lives? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to tell you the wild story of the clock that defined nations. Our story begins in 1884 in Washington, D.C., where a conference was convened to settle what had been an increasingly chaotic issue: the world's lack of a standardized time. Up until that point, time was a local affair. Each town had its own clock, set by the sun or other local means. This might have worked just fine for centuries, but as the world grew more interconnected via trains, steamships, and telegraphs, it quickly became, well, a hot mess. Trains were colliding because schedules couldn't be coordinated. Business meetings were missed. Communication lines across countries became virtually impossible to manage. The planet needed a global timekeeper, and the nations of the world knew they had to come together to solve this. Enter the Prime Meridian Conference of 1884, an event that changed the course of history. A group of 41 delegates from 25 nations gathered in one room to tackle the enormous job of creating a world where noon could mean the same thing everywhere, or at least at universally understood coordinates. Now the question was, where should the starting point, or prime meridian, be? National pride played a huge part in the debates. The French naturally wanted it in Paris. The Americans, fresh off their declaration as an economic powerhouse, felt entitled to claim it for Washington, D.C. But ultimately, the British emerged victorious. Greenwich, with its Royal Observatory in London, was selected as the prime meridian, officially becoming the center of the world's time. The decision wasn't just about convenience, it was a flex of colonial power. As the British Empire spanned continents, choosing Greenwich solidified Britain's global dominance, not just politically, but now temporally as well. The world was divided into 24 time zones, and the concept of Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, was born. Of course, this decision didn't sit well with everyone. The French refused to acknowledge Greenwich for years, sticking stubbornly to their own time standard. Some nations, particularly ones deeply skeptical of British dominance, were hesitant to adopt it at all. And let's not forget the unintended victims of this newly systematized clock: indigenous cultures whose traditional understandings of time, rooted in the rhythms of nature, were suddenly deemed obsolete. But here's the kicker. This wasn't made official by force. It happened because of necessity. Over time, as minutes and seconds began to dictate the global economy, GMT embedded itself into everything. Shipping routes, airline flights, even stock markets. None of it could work without Greenwich. Fast forward to today, and we measure our lives by Coordinated Universal Time, UTC. It's a testament to humanity's ability to collaborate on a shared system, while also serving as a reminder of how something as neutral as a clock can symbolize power, identity, and change. So next time you glance at your watch and assume that time is universal, remember this: time was standardized not by science alone, but by compromise, politics, and a little bit of ego. Time is much more than numbers ticking on a screen. It's a story, one crafted by humanity for humanity, and in this case, dictated by the hands of a clock in Greenwich. What do you think? Does it change the way you view your daily schedule? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget, time may feel constant, but it's fascinating how it actually came to be controlled.